Hello again, welcome back to Football Spine Line, and what a week this is turning out to be for you Arsenal fans. It's barely time for you to have a moan about Kolo Touré leaving and Emmanuel Abue about to follow him when the Sun produce this. Patrick Vieira on the verge of an amazing return to the Gunners. A few of you got wind of this last night and were already in touch on the Spy email, and yes, there does appear to be something in this. It's funny really. When Harry Redknapp admitted the other day that he was very much in for Vieira, I wasn't in favour, largely because I felt that his heart just wouldn't be in a move to Spurs. But there's no doubt that Vieira loves Arsenal, and that the experience that he would give to the Gunners' young players would be invaluable, even at 33. In fact, the young players could even do his running for him. The word is that he's had a superb pre-season at Inter Milan, so much so that even Jose Mourinho has had second thoughts about letting him go. He'd cost £750,000 to Arsenal, and I think that one might well happen. So Gunners fans, is it a good decision by Wenger or a bad one? Elsewhere, there are two very interesting stories involving West Ham. Regular Spy viewers will already know that striker Dean Ashton's on the way out, and we understand that a deal to sign Eidur Gudjohnsen from Barcelona is very, very close to being done. He'd be a great signing. But so too would this man. He's the Bayern Munich striker, Luca Toni, and he's surplus to requirements at that club because Bayern have just bought Mario Gomez from Stuttgart. He'd be a fantastic signing, Toni, for West Ham. Even at 32, he had an Achilles tendon injury for most of last season and still finished Bayern's leading scorer in the league with 14 goals in 25 appearances. Obviously, with Luis Barmorte now ruled out for 6 months with a cruciate ligament injury that he picked up in Beijing yesterday, West Ham need strikers. They've only got Carlton Cole fit, and Savio is still considered to be a bit lightweight. One other West Ham story today, and it involves the defender Matthew Upson, who's a target for Aston Villa. They're prepared to pay around £12 million for Upson, who's desperate to play European football next season in order to stay in Fabio Capello's World Cup plans. But just as keen on this deal are West Ham. We understand here at Spy that Upson's considered a bit too injury prone, and that the Hammers would have no problem whatsoever letting him go if the price is right. Still no news on Brede Hangeland going to Arsenal. In fact, as we told you yesterday, the Fulham defender, who statistically is the best player in his position last season, is set to play in their Europa League tie against the Finnish side Vieira this evening, which would mean he's cup tied for the group stages of the Champions League. Would Arsene Wenger still want to pay £15 for him then? We've also got some quotes from the Fulham boss Roy Hodgson on Hangeland. He says here, "We read about the speculation about Brede, but you only get concerned when a club contacts you. If Arsenal wanted one of our players and could afford to entice him away like Man City are doing at the moment, then yes, we would deal with him. But it's only speculation brought about by people seeing that Arsenal are losing a centre-back and saying, if I were Arsenal's manager, I'd go for him." Spot on, Roy Hodgson. Dropping my pen. Now, this is where a lot of you guys come in with your messages, because lots of you Arsenal fans still got very strong views, particularly on my belief that the Gunners will win the title. Rodney Parker on our email says, "Very good transfer business this window for Arsenal. £45–50 million profit after Abue goes, and the Gunners still have the strength in depth to win trophies." Karaha Players agrees with me. He says, "I honestly think that we, Arsenal, are dark horses. The only type of players we're missing are defensive midfielders." And even Manchester United, lots of numbers, he's obviously a Man U fan. He says, "You guys have a lethal team. Even though I'm mortal enemies with you guys, I do indeed respect the players." I'll do some of your questions a bit later on. But before we move on, a pleasant surprise for me was some of you guys asking if you're still interested in doing video messages. If we're still interested, well, we're definitely interested in video messages. In fact, we'll definitely include them on the show, and we'll give a prize to the best one. I'll sort one out over the weekend. Some of you asking if Everton are going to accept a bid for defender Joleon Lescott. Well, this is the Independent. They have confirmation of the fact that Everton rejected a second bid of around £19 million for Lescott last night from Man City. City definitely want him though, and more to the point, Lescott wants to go, just as we told you yesterday, so expect more movement on that over the coming days. Also on our email, Cam thinks Liverpool have got the title in the bag as long as they keep Mascherano and Alonso. but not if those two players leave. Now, Alonso's definitely leaving. I know a few of you have warned me not to leave myself with egg all over my face, but Alonso definitely wants to go, and that move is just days away. And Mascherano's agent desperately trying to engineer a move to Barcelona. We'll wait and see what happens with that one. As for who might replace them, a question lots of you are asking, well, take a look at this. It's the Daily Mail, and they say that a player we've flagged up on the show before, Lee Catamol at Wigan, is being earmarked to replace Alonso. Although they're not box office, Benitez is worried about the small number of English players in his Liverpool lineup, with the new rules limiting foreign players, which is why, as we told you yesterday, he's also in for the Hull defender Michael Turner. Now, before we move on, just time to refer you to Alonso Watch. It's a new feature on the Mirror's very funny football blog, Football Banter. Dan Silver does that. He's aiming to keep you up to date with whatever Alonso does until he finally takes that fateful flight out to Madrid. Also, just time to confirm to you that the Newcastle striker Obafemi Martins is on his way to the German champions Wolfsburg after the two clubs agreed a £9 million fee yesterday. And sticking with strikers, this is very interesting in the Mail. To be fair, a more local paper here in England, the Birmingham Mail, had this story first. It says that Villa boss Martin O'Neill wants to offer Robbie Keane some regular first-team football and European football, to be fair, with Peter Crouch now at Tottenham. Part of the reason might be this. These are some quotes from the Spurs boss Harry Redknapp this morning. He's currently out in Beijing with the Tottenham squad. He says that he's very much still interested in the Real Madrid striker Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. He says here, it's definitely not a no-go. It's still a possibility. If you look at his goal-scoring record, it's incredible. If he's a player that's available, then yes, he still interests me. Arsenal still interested as well, so that one looks as though it's going to be a fight to the finish. Phil Brown's got his megaphone out. This time it's to insist that it will take a ridiculous offer to lure Michael Turner away. We just mentioned him from the club. Phil, just keep quiet about it. You don't need to tell anyone how much it would cost. Just keep quiet, just like David Moyes is doing with Joleon Lescott. Some more of your messages, and to Daryl Coles, know that Atletico Madrid winger Maxi Rodriguez won't be coming to Spurs. Spurs very happy with Aaron Lennon. And if they do get another winger, then it's more likely to be Ashley Young from Villa. To Kev Gannon, I think David Silva's got every chance of signing for either Man United or Liverpool. That one might well go to the wire. To Zygum and to everyone else who's been asking for the Phil Brown megaphone, no, you can't have it. Elder Stan says here, hi Darren, I've just got to say that this show is the best thing that's happened to me this summer, so please can we keep the longer shows? Thank you very much, we'll see what we can do. He's also asking what we'll do after the window closes. Well, we've got a few things up our sleeve, so we'll give you details on that in a couple of weeks' time, but we're definitely going to keep going after the window closes. Two more stories for you, and SkySports.com report today that the Man City winger Elano's just joined Galatasaray in Turkey, which for me is a waste. He was a great signing when he first arrived, but he turned out to be a bit of a troublemaker. And a player lots of you have been asking about, the Roma playmaker Alberto Aquilani, is expected to move to Liverpool this summer, say The Times. The competition for the Frank Ribery's goes on, and I'm now optimistic that he's going to move clubs after Chelsea declared yesterday that they're not bothered by Bayern Munich's move to put a staggering £80 million price tag on the player. Chelsea still want to sign him, but are obviously not prepared to pay that much for him. So how much will he go for? Well, Sickness thinks he'll go for £48.5 million. Ben Hoth thinks he'll go for £44 million. And Spencer thinks he'll go for £64 million. Let me know how much you think Frank Ribery will go for on the blog, on YouTube, or on our Spy email. Tune in tomorrow for some more Football Spy, the very best transfer show on the web. I'll see you soon.